of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you will please remain standing just for a few minutes as we remember those that have passed, in particular those across the seas protecting our country and those right here in our own community, and particularly Maria Padias, Catherine Richardson, and Albert Smith. Thank you. Welcome everyone here tonight. Would like to thank everyone for coming, and we'll start with public comment on agenda items. On agenda items only. Alrighty, moving into liaison department head reports.
Do we know what agenda items are?
You do, you pick up an agenda.
Oh, is that front?
It should be on the table right here.
Will you give us a minute to peruse?
Definitely not, we're past that already. Of
We didn't
course.
vote on it.
While they're perusing that, I will move into the mayor report for a second. I would just like to recognize William Hurtado in the back of the room. He is our first district representative for the village. We are putting together a district committee, 2 representatives per district, to improve communications and improve the follow-through on what needs to be done in the areas of the village. This hopefully will help us make sure that the smaller projects, the phone calls that are made, you know, can this be done, can that be done, are not overlooked by the bigger projects and the day-to-day activities. I'd also like to thank Fran DeLu. She has stepped forward as well to be a district rep in her area. For those that are interested, you can see us at any point and ask us what it entails. And basically, it's about getting involved. And an email to Fran, again, every week. I'm gonna be pushing the issue. Late 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, it's time to step up. It's time to step up and get involved in any way you can. Not in any way politically, because this is a horrible place to be up here. But we have a lot of different clubs, we have a lot of different things going on in the community that need assistance. I see some of the people from Vision here tonight. Okay, a fantastic organization. That needs more people, in particular, younger people to step up, be a part of it, and make it your organization. Did you have anything on the agenda items you want to speak of?
Yes, I would. I'd like to speak about the Bressel School project, raise brother chickens. Is that appropriate time?
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. Rather than jump right now, it is on our discussion. Give me 5 minutes, and when discussion, rather than just us discussing it, I'll let you speak on
What
it.
is this discussion going to entail? Because I had been told that it was approved already. So is it open for discussion still?
It is.
Okay, so you're not going to jump over me or cheat me or do...
Would I do that to you?
I don't know.
Let's find out.
I know a lot about parliamentary procedures,
Let's
so
find
you're
out.
going to have a hard
I
time doing it.
won't let it happen.
Okay.
Liaison department heads. Let's start with police.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, trustees, ladies and gentlemen. Last month, the dispatch took in 840 calls. That includes radio runs, walk-ins, and telephone calls. We had 20 arrests. 341 summonses were issued. Of that, 134 were parking meter tickets, 207 were traffic infractions. The Village Police Department brought in $8,100 last month. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Water?
Raw water, normal operation, reservoir system, water plant, village water usage, 433,000 gallons per day, town water usage, 69,000 gallons per day, total water usage, 502,000 gallons per day, operation maintenance, Orange County, Department of Health, inspected water system. Water distribution, fire hydrants located at Cousins and South Banking Service. Water meters were read for building. Routine utility markouts. That's it.
Fantastic. Sewer.
Sewer. Average volume of wastewater treated per month, a little over 1 million gallons. We got 3 inches of rain, that's why that was up. Facility met all New York State DEC speedies permit limitations. Powellwood Lake, Webb Lane pump stations, the Haven Road facilities are checked regularly and operated properly. Belt filter press in operation 4 days. Worked on belt filter press and polymer system for 5 days. 65 cubic feet of grit and screenings removed from for disposal by CAM Enterprises. Water plant began settling basin washdown on the 26th. Last washdown was June 26th. The schedule agreed to us to wash down 1 basin every 2 months, so there is no adverse effect on the wastewater treatment plant facility operations. Chief John Jones spoke with West Point Sewer Plant Operator Charles Rickey about chemicals used at the facility. Attended the department head meeting on the 11th. Met with Representative Chuck Stessy concerning future projects, price quotes, etc. Met with Trustee Farina. Met with Boss Construction about design building roofing project. Met with East Coast Environmental Inc. owner Todd Zielinski to go over polymer system and belt filter press. That was on the 21st. Repair and maintenance, belt filter press conveyor. Troy Belting replaced the conveyor belt with new belt and aligned and tested, back in service on 5th. Auto grit removal system, Toaster Associates installed a VFD motor on pump, warranty work, back in service on the 11th. Flow meters, ABB Incorporated perform annual calibration service, new transmitter, etc. needed. Original equipment no longer accurate, reliable. Control and maintenance building, Mid-Hudson Fire Protection Inc. performs semi-annual inspection maintenance of fire sprinkler system as per Villa's insurance carrier. Digester sludge pump number 2 out of service for repair on the 28th. Repaired in-house, back in service on the 31st. Sanitary sewer system. Sewer main blockage, intersection of Cousins Avenue and 4 Putnam Street, cleared by TAM. Sewer main blockage between Church Street and Main Street, Don Fonks, cleared by TAM. Maintenance and lubrication of pump motors and machineries as required. Maintenance of buildings and grounds as time allows. They worked on it for 24 days. Man hours lost due to sick, vacation, personal leave, or compensatory leave, fine, 15 days. And overtime for the month, 30 hours, emergency hours, 10. Gas consumption, 78 gallons. That's it.
Fire.
Fire. Over the weekend, not only was it International Firefighters Recognition Day, but it was also the 92nd annual installation dinner for our firematic and administrative officers in the Highland Falls Fire Department. I'd like to introduce Chief Steve Suarez and First Assistant Chief Eric Smith. The other line officers were unable to be here this evening because of work conflicts, but William, AKA Mickey Lee, is now fully sworn in, Second Assistant Chief. John Rush is Captain, Ryan Gibson, First Lieutenant, Jesse Marvin, Second Lieutenant. These gentlemen lead us in some very important activities. In April alone, there were 11 calls, one of which was a major mutual aid for a brush fire. And as you may have heard during the budget discussions, there are annual testings that must be done. Most critically, we're going to be testing the pumps on our 2 engines. And if you went by the Sacred Heart municipal parking lot across from the church, not this past weekend, the weekend before, there was recruitment day involving not only our fire department, but Fort Montgomery. And at least one new recruit has come.
Received application, yes.
And it was,
More in the wings.
it was a good opportunity for fire prevention training for the community as well. While you're standing here, in case there are additional questions, the department requests permission for the following apparatus to go to Lake George on June 18th. It's rescue truck 430, car 1, potentially car 2, and the decon trailer. I want to thank the fire department for reducing vehicles. We want to protect our fire engine, and the rescue vehicle is a smallish vehicle. It's not like taking a full fire engine up. Also, car 1 would like to go to the Fire Chiefs Convention in Verona, New York on June 11th, 12th, 13th, or 14th?
One of those days.
One of those days,
Possibly.
okay.
Take care of that in new business. I'd like to congratulate all the new officers.
Thank you.
I have no questions.
Thank you.
I just want to congratulate, thank you guys. Make sure that's on, Charlie, don't let me pass that on you. Mayor's report, just one thing for now, and that is, as normal, you have a lot of late year spending going on. So I'm gonna ask that, as of the mid-month of May, that any spending going on, we check with our department heads. Because it seems that everyone's worried about not spending all their money, and they're just buying a lot of things last minute. So, rather than spend all the money, let's save a little bit. We will get it out to all department heads. You must check with your liaison before making the purchases, whether they are in your budget or not. Because the question will be, why do we wait till the fourth quarter to buy everything instead of purchasing throughout the year and planning? Okay? Discussion.
I'm not in a rush.
Okay, I'm
No,
glad.
there you go.
ESC, the Energy Curtailment Specialist. You've seen, we were contacted by Scott McMullen. Basically, what he had asked was if we would consider being a part of the program. The program is during the high volume usage of electric, mainly just at the plants, that we utilize our generators at those plants during high volume use of electric this summer. By doing that, they will actually pay us to be a part of it, and then we will take the money, of course, but by being a part of the program, we will assist in lowering the usage during high volume times, so a little less off the system.
Will they let us know particular times?
Yes.
Okay.
And I just want to make sure, Bill, now, again, we did this at last meeting, but for those that don't know, Bill Florence is now our new attorney. As part of our new agreement, Bill's actually going to be with us at most of the meetings, as well as special meetings. It's already been a huge help in the first two meetings. And I just want to welcome him aboard officially and introduce him to the community. Right now, this is just in discussion. Bill, did you have anything on this that you'd like to add?
The only thing is that in high intensive uses, the kilowatt hour rate goes very high. So the Rockland and Orange in this side of the river will bill a really high rate when they have to go out and in what they call the spot market, to buy electricity in turn, because it's being demanded by their region. So it's very, very expensive. The idea here, it's a really good idea, is to avoid having to pay the high peaks and to skip past the high peaks with a very low consumption and then get back to the regular rates at which the municipality should be charged. So that's an explanation of what this organization is trying to do in terms of saving money for the village and also making some money back for the village. It's a pretty good idea.
It is, as long as we, you know, as far as the generators go, we could exercise our generators on those specific times if we knew what they were.
Oh, they'll coordinate with our department heads.
So we can kind of rotate those in, those cycles in.
Yeah, you're right, Bob. The key is knowing when
Right.
to turn on. So that's a good idea.
Okay.
We need some more information, I think.
Now, the one question I had, this marketing page, simply fill out our one-page enrollment form and get ready for a new revenue stream. But that one page, I think, they try to lock you into a 5-year contract. And I would like to see if we could try them out for a year before going for 5.
Yeah, because guessing when a peak demand is not an easy thing, I would think. You know, I mean, you watch the Weather Channel, and how many times is it actually, you know, we don't know. I mean, we certainly can exercise the generators at those times, but we'd be guessing. So we need to, I like the idea.
Well, what we'll do then is I'll go back to them before we do anything. We'll see if we can't, because not just locking down for the year, I'd also like to make sure, I'm pretty sure they're not gonna short us, but how much are we actually getting out of it? Just participating, as long as we break even, participating in the program helps the community. But if they're telling us we're gonna make money, I'd also like to be able to tell the community, by participating in this, we're making this much. So I think that's an excellent idea to see if we can't do a 1-year trial, and then we will sign up for it if it works for us. All right, so I will get back to them on that. Next up for discussion is the recreation agreement. You have that in front of you. Two ways we can go with this. I've looked over the entire recreation agreement. This is just a small portion of it. I've looked over the entire recreation agreement. The last time it was reviewed was 1982. It's not just outdated, it's not useful. The entire agreement. I don't want anyone to make a decision tonight because I'd like to look over the agreement. But after looking it over and re-looking it over and re-looking over it again, 95% of the agreement really doesn't, it's not relevant. My recommendation to take into consideration would be to get rid of the agreement altogether. Come up with a new, right now, the agreement centers around the Recreation Committee. And the Recreation Committee basically controls everything with the rec, but really it doesn't. It's kind of a level limbo going on over there. I personally would like to see the Recreation Director treated like every other department head in the town hall. Meaning that the Recreation Director is responsible, the town board would hire the Recreation Director. The Recreation Director would recommend all hirees under the Recreation Department, and the town board would then hire them, which is how it's done in all the other departments. The Recreation Committee, which I think would be a valuable committee, to myself would be a recommendation committee to the Rec Director. And that would be so to bring in more money, new programs, what things are, perfect example is Roe Park. There are 5 or 6 major things going on up there that need addressing. This rec commission could be the bulldog that just says, why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we doing this? And keeping the heat on things that need to happen in rec, because when we talk about bringing in new families and new people to our community, besides business, besides schools, it's recreation. They want to know what kind of recreation program it is, and the rec commission can be very vital to that. But the rec director, and this is just my opinion, needs to be the head of the department. And the way it stands now, if for those who read the contract, he's not. the rec director is actually hired by the rec commission, not by the town board. So this actually addresses that. This actually addresses the fact that the town board will now hire the rec director and not the rec commission hire the rec director. So what I'd like to do is, if everyone can, this is why it's not a new business this week. I would like to give a recommendation to the town, after everyone has read the full recreation agreement. So we'll get your thoughts on that between now and next meeting, and we'll put something together with Bill and bring it over to the town. Again, I think it's gonna be much simpler than the agreement that we have now. And I think that will help move things forward. Any other comments on that?
I guess the only comment would be that we are in agreement conceptually with the request from the town that, since they are responsible for these hirings, that the ultimate hiring decision resides with them, which I think we all are.
Yeah. And that, the only reason why I'm not 100% want to move on this tonight is this basically says, let the town hire the rec director, is because it still falls within the framework of the agreement, which I think really needs to be taken care of altogether. And it, in my opinion, simple. It's not a lot of work, not a lot of work to fix this. All right. Moving on, discussion. Bressler School project to raise broiler chickens. We're in a new area. Nothing set in stone in the in our books, though the code. I did find out that we have more chickens than we know of, because some people went directly to the town, the building inspector in years past, and because it wasn't in the code, you can't have them. You can have them. So it's my understanding we have 2 other families that have chickens, years past, and they still do.
Are they raising chickens for eggs?
Not
Like
for
this?
broilers, that's for sure.
So in other words, they have chickens that they have continually throughout the year?
It's my understanding.
Okay.
Now, when we were told to be careful of this subject, and it is coming up quite a bit. It was our intention to make sure that not just the people raising the chickens were making sure they were following the code, but that all the neighbors were not affected by it. And so when the first group came to us asking for chickens, we asked them to make sure their neighbors, it was okay, they did check. Second group checked. And the third group, we got back feedback that there was an issue, and that was this one. But we are bringing it back on the table because this one is not like all the other ones. And it's really not an open forum, but I'm gonna go ahead and do that, so maybe we can take care of this tonight. Are the people that don't want their chickens here? Okay.
Mayor, I do want to stress that even within our code, applying to any chickens out there, if the neighbors at any time object to the chickens, the right to harbor these chickens is revocable. So we wanted to head these 5 or 6 chickens off at the pass if indeed the neighborhood objected.
That's actually in the code right now, which is why we wanted to do it before it got to be an issue. But the difference between this request and the other requests are, the other requests are just to raise standard chickens. This is a short period of raising broiler chickens, and then I'm gonna use the term disposing of them. So we're not right there on the site, I don't believe. It's not a year-round raising, we're taking eggs, we're doing this, we're milking cows. This is a small project, this is a school project. And that's why they came back, even though we did get a couple of negative responses. They did come back to the board and just let us know that it's a school project as part of her major. And that is why she was looking to do it. It's a short period, I believe,
6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks, so we're not even talking 2 months. I'm not gonna get into the middle of it, because it's not my thing. But I will put a request out to those that do have issues that in the code, it can be shut down at any time. If you want to consider allowing to do it for a school project, that's up to you. That is, it's the code. Did you wanna say something, Sean?
Yeah, like, I'm not sure what my neighbors feel about it, and I know both of these women. I don't wanna upset anybody, I don't wanna tip any boat, these are good people. The birds are gonna be in a coop,
Right.
and they're a certain type of bird, there's no roosters, they don't make a lot of noise, and they gain weight quickly, they're in a coop, that's why
They don't even walk real well.
they
'cause
don't
get
walk well,
pumped
because they
up
get
really
fat
fast.
like that. The whole idea is just to raise them, slaughter them, and eat them.
I think,
So they're not gonna be loose, they're not gonna be in the neighborhood, they're not gonna be flying around, they're gonna be in a coop,
I think
probably
that
smaller than where you people sit up there.
one of the issues that was raised was whether or not they would attract rodents.
They don't attract rodents.
They don't attract
Do you
rodents,
have cats?
I watched
If the
that
feed-
on
if
the
feed is not
TV
properly
2 weeks ago.
contained.
I don't know who the person is that spoke about that, so you're telling me every chicken farm in America is infested with rodents? Think about
In
that.
Great Britain,
Think about
they
that.
balance it with cats.
We have 3 cats, if that helps.
Fantastic.
Before we start getting into whether or not we should or not agree to this, it's not effective. That's, you used the wrong term, it's not effective. It's whether or not we want it and agree to it.
Correct.
Okay, we would maybe be affected by the smell, by the potential for rodents, but it's not affected, that's not what the code says. It says whether or not we
Right.
want it for any reason.
That's actually the way Charlie put it.
She did, she
Yes.
basically very politely corrected you, but I want everyone in the room to know, it's not, the code does not say effective. That's the first thing. The second thing is, how did this come to the board at the special meeting for the budget where it was already approved and then disapproved? It was supposed to be tabled until an open meeting, not at a special budget meeting, and then
The-
somebody just approved it without her even
Any-
coming forward.
Any of those meetings are open meetings that any business can go
But it
on.
was a special meeting, it was not talking about the broad aspect of the village of Highland Falls.
Any meeting is, we're able to do the business, it was on the table, and
But
we
she
move
had not
forward.
at that point come back with any of, even contacting us.
We
She
were
was
under
told-
the impression that it was, but
But
this
by
is
who?
why we're here.
Did you have proof of that?
I'm not,
Did she come back and tell you she contacted us?
this
No.
isn't an inquiry, so we
It's
just
not
calm
an
down.
inquiry.
Okay.
But I wanna know that, I have a right to know, how did it get approved at the budget meeting?
We had the paper.
I don't think it got approved, I think you
It
said
got
you're gonna
approved and-
table it, and we're gonna vote on it at the next meeting. That's what I saw on the TV. It wasn't approved. I even saw you when you said it's not approved, we have to vote on
And
it.
we never got it approved.
Right,
We didn't get anything in the mail.
But what happened at the budget
one
meeting?
second.
So then who approved
Oh,
it
sorry.
if Jeannie's
Wait,
right?
Wait,
My name's Lisa Boy, I've been these people's neighbors since we moved in 1988. I think what they're looking to do is fantastic. And I work at night, that's why I'd like to speak for a minute, and I gotta go. I get to bed around 6 AM, so I'm trusting that they're gonna keep these chickens under control and quiet. Actually, my wife and I were thinking about having a handful of chickens ourselves. We've got a spot up in our backyard, and we love to do that. I can see that some of my neighbors aren't being very cooperative, but that's standard for under your part. But I wanted to go on record in supporting what the Bruslers want to do, okay? They've been my neighbors for 20-plus years, they've been good neighbors, and I think what Alana's trying to do is pretty cool, and it sounds like it's a short-term thing, and as long as they're taking care of it and it's under control, you know, It's part of her major. I don't see why, for once, we can't make an exception, but all I just wanted to say is I support what they're doing, and I live right next door, and I gotta go to work, so thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye, Mrs. Savoy.
Ms. McClellan?
All right, you wanna stay?
As much as we would like to approve a student project, we have to consider that this, what we have here is the representative of the board of directors for the Ontario Park Association. They don't want livestock in Ontario Park for any reason. Perhaps another location could be located in order to raise the chickens. If we open the door to this, I know, obviously, there is going to be more requests. And the board needs to know right now that the majority of the people, and if we need to get a petition, we will, oppose this.
You don't need to get a petition. As Charlie stated in the code, that if there is a problem, it will happen. So rather than us buy a coop, buy the chickens, and start to raise them, and the second day, we get 6 phone calls, we're gonna handle this here tonight. And at this juncture, I may be wrong, per the code, there's nothing we can do. The one thing that Ms. McClellan brought up, which I think might be an option, is to find, I don't know if it's something where she has to go hourly or however to supervise the chickens, but possibly to find another area outside Ondura, a friend, or whoever that might be able to have it in their area.
No, wait a minute, we're trying to raise chickens in a village. Ondiora has nothing to do with it. We're here at a village board meeting. The Ondiora Park Association, if that was in existence when it was in existence, even though it does exist today, when it was started, that man would not be sitting on this board right now. So the Ondiora Park Association has nothing to do with this. This is a village issue. You've talked village code. This is a village issue.
Correct.
Village.
Right, the problem is.
Village.
Right. Mr. Russell, the problem is.
That man would not be sitting on this board as far as the Ondiora Park Association is concerned. Read their bylaws when they go back.
I understand, it's not, no, shh. It's not it's not, and I did not say because of the Ondiora Board Association.
No, you did.
Then I'm horrible at this.
It's
Charlie, I got it, it's the neighbors, I got it,
Right.
It's the neighbors.
It's a village issue, right.
right.
Neighbors.
And in the code, if we get the complaints from the neighbors, it's shut down.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to
But
say.
I know, but the Ondiora Park Association should have nothing to do with
I'm
this.
here as a neighbor.
Exactly, that
happen to
I
be on
can
the
relate
Ontario
to.
Park
And that's perfectly all right, you can be on that, however, we are in a village board meeting in the village of Highland
I
Falls.
understand, Sean, but the bylaws of Ondiora Park, in that document that you're talking about, when you bought a house in there, there's certain things, what's it say about that? Is there anything in there that may
It
supersede?
was written in
No,
1865.
I'm aware of that.
Right, so, and
So
you know what,
that's-
Bob? You know what, Bob?
go
When
by
my
that.
house was built in Ondiora Park, there was livestock in there. What do you think of that?
Well, that-
People had
side of
chickens.
times, but I'm just-
People had
I know
pigs.
that certain
And the
things-
bylaws were
certain
written
things
back in
can
the
be deeded
1800s.
into properties
So now all of a
that
sudden you're gonna
supersede
bring
the-
something up
I
about,
didn't bring up anything, I'm
no,
asking a
no, no,
question.
not you, these people that are
Yeah.
on the board or whatever.
Let's, you know what, let's do this. At this time, we have neighbors that came forward that do not want the project.
And I respect their
Love
issues.
you, stop. We have neighbors that came forward that don't want the project. At this time, we have to, unfortunately, say that the project right now cannot go forward. That doesn't mean it's a dead project, I have no problem. If you wanna sit down with John Hager, figure out what's what, figure out there's something else, I have no problem going down also and confirming the code, making sure it's exactly what it is. And then the other aspect would be to, and I'm only throwing this out as a suggestion, to possibly find some place that we can put
Not a
this.
problem, Mayor,
And that's all. And
not a problem.
I already got yelled at for spending too much time on chicken matters. So, and that there's so many more important things, but the bottom line is, it doesn't matter. If it's important to you, it needs to be discussed. And this is obviously important to Alana, and I think it's a great project.
Sure it is.
J-
Sure it is.
You did approve it at your April 28th
Correct,
meeting, so you would have to motion the rescind.
Revocation.
right,
Can I just say something?
yes.
This is nice. It
You
is.
sure? Because the
I'm
other one
not.
sounded like it kind of, as you came around back in.
Sherry and Sean know, I love their kids and I love Alana. And I wish that she could do this there. But unfortunately, at the time of the year that she's gonna do it, it's humid, it's hot as hell. I've been to chicken farms on Long Island, so has Sean. It stinks. And it does cause rodents, and we already have somewhat of a rodent problem because we're so close to the river, because of the rock, because of Aristop's, forest, which I would never want that changed, but, so we do have that already, and this would only compound it. I wish that we could help in some way, I'll help her find something that's more suitable than having it in Ondiora Park. And maybe Aristoph would come across, Sean, and let her do it on
Thank
the
you.
other side of the fence.
No worries.
No,
Believe
I
me,
love
Jeannie,
you, and
Hey, pal,
I know.
we've been friends for a long
Yeah.
time, that's why I say,
Yeah.
I don't want it to go like this, like all of a sudden you're gonna
But
be arguing with
Aristoph
my
is
neighbors
not
who
a,
I've known, I thought it was nice of Lee to come in and say that, awfully decent of him.
yeah,
However, if you feel that this needs to be now, from what Gina said, reversed, not a problem. I want to thank the board and my neighbors for their time and consideration on this matter. Greatly appreciated.
Sean, let's check with Aristoph. He could maybe let her do that. That's what he does. He's dead?
He's dead.
Well, his estate.
He's
Let's
perfect.
check with Mike Lewis.
He said
I'm,
yes.
I actually,
He said,
I'm lucky enough that I own a couple of
Okay.
pieces of property.
Okay, I think we're good to
Jeannie,
go.
thank you though. Yes,
I think
we
we're
are.
good to go. We're gonna be moving on.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
all right,
We're, I got you.
What do we
Moving
do
into new
now?
business.
What do we do now?
You can go home and enjoy the day. Hockey game's on here.
What about the motion
We'll be motioning that in the new business.
in the new business?
Okay?
So you don't do anything. We do the rest
I'm
now.
not doing
I'm
anything.
sorry that he called you out, Mr. Brown, with regard to what he said about the bylaws.
That's all right, I'm aware of that.
You know that, I'm a Gonzalez, so I couldn't be there either. We don't go by those bylaws, obviously, we didn't write them, some antiquated, ignorant people wrote those bylaws.
Thank you.
I saw the bylaws, they're pretty.
Thank you, everybody.
The problem with the bylaws is that we would have to get 100% agreement on everything.
And we can't.
We can't.
I'm not asking you to. I
No, we
appreciate
tried.
it.
It's been tried.
Moving on to new business.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
everybody. And get home for dancing next time.
We need to approve the minutes as
Nice to meet
written.
you, Doug.
Regular meeting,
Good luck
April
to you.
21st, 2014. Special meeting, April 28th, 2014.
Congratulations.
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second? All's in favor?
I don't know who did what I had to do.
I'm gonna hold off on Sound Street right now. Going to the CBG resolution. We just set a public hearing for May 19th. Date, time, and place. This is a regular meeting, Gina? 19th, 7 o'clock?
Are you skipping the,
Yes, I just said I was skipping that for now.
Mr. Rhodes is here, I don't know if
He
that's
is.
why you're,
Okay,
I didn't see it.
Mr. Rhodes?
Are you here for your hearing?
Yes, sir.
I didn't
Yeah,
see
he
him, so I was
just-
holding off.
He just came in.
Okay. Then we'll hold up the CBG, and I'd like to open up a public hearing for 8 South Street. Do I have a motion? Second? Second? Thank you, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing's open. Mr. Rhodes, do you want to give us an update on 8 South Street?
But first of all, I want to apologize to the village and the board for coming this far. I had a contractor and I've engaged with this contractor, and I was of the opinion that it was a good contractor because the contractor did all the work around the village here, including the new bank and all the walls around here in the village. So I assumed this contractor was a bona fide contractor, so I engaged with this contractor. So, unbeknown to that, it come to a situation where I came home one day and saw the wall that they had put up. And I told them, no, you gotta take that down. They were in the midst of taking the wall down when they had to stop order, so that's why they didn't take the wall. So, I rented this machine. The machine that I rent is about maybe $5,000 a week. So I had to rent this machine again, which it was scheduled for this Saturday. Had nothing to do with this hearing or whatever. That's when it was scheduled for them to deliver the machine. And there was commenced work to take the wall and take whatever blocks and things that they had put on neighbor's property. I was not aware that they had dropped these blocks on neighbor's property. They assured me that they had gotten permission to do this, but apparently they didn't. So anyway, so they're in the process now of taking this wall down. They've been working on it since last Saturday. I also found out today that the new paperwork to be submitted for the actual wall that we need, they never submitted the paperwork. So,
For the new one?
for the new, that is right.
Okay. Did they have a permit on the first one, Lynn?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I really don't think so.
No, my only concern is that maybe, you know, John's been up there, right? So he knows they're working up there and everything. It's not like they need to, I don't know how they're being covered on the work, removing it also to this.
Well, the situation is that we contacted the building department. He knew that we were gonna move the wall, but he didn't know when. And the reason we didn't know when is because really it was weather related. So once the weather cleared up, we had already put everything in motion. As you can see, if you've been up there, that's a large piece of equipment that I had to rent to get in there, so I gotta wait till they get that piece of equipment available. So they assured me that they were gonna deliver it last Friday, which once again had nothing to do with this hearing or whatever. It was scheduled to be delivered last Friday, and sure enough, they delivered it last Friday. And we had that piece of equipment for a week. Because it is roughly $5,000 a week for that piece of equipment, so they'll be back at the end, this following Friday to pick it up. So, the wall would have been taken away, and it would have been taken care of prior to the winter setting in, but the stop order is what, the reason why when I came home, they said they had to stop work order, so they couldn't remove the wall.
Okay.
So they took off and left this piece of machinery there for a couple of weeks that we paid for it sitting. So, that's where we're at now.
So,
Do you have,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
do you have permission, or have you put some sort of a sketch in, or a series of actions that will be taken with the building department? Have you done that? Telling them what you're going to do as soon as weather permits?
No, not written, no, I haven't put anything written in terms of the wall. The reason I had to put anything written is the building department didn't require me to put anything written, they just did a stop work order.
I know, but what we're trying to do is get you past the stop work order in order to allow you to go back to work and finish what you were intending to do. And-
Well, the building department has already told us to take the wall out,
All right.
and told us how he wanted it done
He
once.
has already done that?
Yes,
Okay.
they're in the process of that. My contention is I'm not paying $60,000 to put trees and shrubs down. I paid $60,000 to have a wall to make it look nice. I mean, I had a wall put out front of my house, I've had an addition put on my house, so I don't wanna put trees and shrubs, and I don't wanna have a confrontation with the village or the building department, whatever. It's, once again, when I found out that they didn't have this, I immediately told them to take it out. That had nothing to do, the stop work order has nothing to do with them taking the wall out, that's what you gotta understand. I told them to take the wall out, and then they were supposed to go through the process, which I hired an engineer. All that's taken care of, the type of wall that's supposed to be there, we have all that. All that's taken care of. It has to be submitted now to the building department. The reason it wasn't submitted, because he wants us to take, we need to take that wall out, that wall has to come out. We can't use those blocks. Why they put these blocks in it, I have no idea. All I do is came home and they were there. Okay? The building department didn't tell me to take this wall out when we take it out. I came home and told them, no, I know that's not right, take it out. And they was in commence of taking this wall out. Really, there was like 2 days working on it when they got this stop order.
Is John been talking to the engineer that designed the new
Yes.
wall? Okay, good.
Matter of fact, he talked to me today.
All right.
And I explained to him the situation, which he said he went up Friday and saw the piece of equipment there. And he went up, he just suggested that I still come to the village board and give them some type of timetable when this will be done.
All right, so you submitted that drawing from your engineer to John, and John?
No, we're going to submit the new drawings and engineers to the wall, for the new wall.
Okay, yeah.
The reason I'm saying we go into is that wall, regardless of what you put down, that wall has to come out. That's what the problem is. That wall is to come out. No matter what we submit, that wall still has to come out.
Right.
Okay, so I was in the process of channeling all my energy and my finances to get, I'm financing to get this wall back out.
I understand dancing around the rain and all.
Right,
that.
right, that's what happened, and then when we got set in with the weather, if we hadn't had a stop order, the wall would have been out. Because the equipment was there, the driver was there, the trucks, everything that we needed. Because you gotta realize, to put those blocks, you need a low boy to put those blocks on. If any contractors here, they know, those size blocks, you just can't use a dump truck. There's a low boy who bring those in. Okay, and we need that giant piece of equipment to get it from down below. And we need a backhoe for up top to move the gravel. So we're in the process of moving the dirt, everything is moved out, and it's gonna be put back so it does not erosion on any of adjoining property yet. But we're gonna put a wall. Any other questions?
According to an email sent by Mr. Hager today, he says that he informed you that an engineered plan needs to be submitted for review prior to approval of a permit for the new wall.
That is correct. That
So
is correct.
that is in the works? or-
That is correct. We have that. That is
You've already
correct.
got it?
Yeah, we have that, yes, that
But
is
he
correct.
doesn't have it yet?
He doesn't have it because
Got it.
my energy is getting the wall that have there.
That's what this is about. This is about the actual wall coming down.
The wall that's
The
there.
old wall?
Right.
That's right.
You adjourn the hearing and pending this gentleman's opportunity for his engineer to talk with the building department. And so you don't have to make a decision now about anything. If you adjourn the hearing to allow him enough time
Right.
to cure what was obviously the need for a building permit to begin with.
Right.
And then basically we're gonna start again. So if you wanna put it off for a month or whatever you want, whatever you, in your judgment, you think is a wise idea.
Do you know about how long to take the wall down? Do you have any estimate on that? I know you don't want to keep that thing any longer.
I
than
plan to
that.
have it fall out by this Friday, that was my point. I'm making
All right, so if
emphasis
we
on the
gave you-
fact that the machinery costs $5,000. I don't think I'm gonna leave it sitting around
You're,
for a couple of weeks.
Mr. Rhodes, you're on top, but I don't think that's a real issue. I think if you had a month to get it out and at least get the engineer over to John and everything set up, then you're good to go. Is that good
Oh,
enough?
that would be.
And just give us an update in a month.
No problem.
Okay, so
No
at this
problem.
time, I need to have a motion to adjourn the hearing.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second, all's in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Rhodes, thank you so much for the update and good luck with the wall.
Once again, I apologize for coming to this, but I was doing everything I could for it not to come to this.
Good luck with that. That's a tough site for building a wall.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is, but it'll work.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to beautify the area other than.
Exactly.
That's all, that was my intention, you know, and contractor's intention was a shortcut. And, but I caught it before we got that point, okay?
Excellent, thank you
Any
so much.
questions from anyone? I'm grateful. Thank you.
Good to go.
All right, sorry I'm late.
Not at all, take care, perfect time.
Okay.
CBDG resolution, we need to set a public hearing for May 19th. May 19th, 7 o'clock, Village Hall. Is that good, Gina?
May I make a suggestion that, because it's likely to attract seniors, that we arrange to have it at the
We will see if we can have it at the library? No. If we can have it at Town Hall.
There was a concern there.
There
Gina
might
has.
be a
Zoning
conflict
meeting.
with the
So
zoning.
what meeting?
I think zoning meets the third Monday?
Yeah.
All right, well, my only thing is that then we lose the,
Third Monday?
Planning is.
we lose the camera, which reaches out a lot more people. Yes, sir.
That's it.
This right here. That's my only concern, is that now we lose anyone who's trying to watch at home, they won't do that. You're saying for the seniors?
Yeah, isn't it really a pro forma kind of meeting that we just, we're passing a resolution to apply for these funds?
Yeah.
So it's not terribly exciting.
I don't think any of our meetings are exciting. We will, all right, well, we need to set it today. Do you want to set it for the library too, Bob?
That makes sense.
Okay.
You know,
This is a regular meeting, is it not? So it's not just for the CBG, it's a regular board meeting. That's what I was trying to say. All right, I have no problem with the library, we will, they can look online for it, but we won't have that. So we're looking to set May 19th, 7 PM. We have to find out if the library is available first. If it's available, we'll have it at the library, if not, it'll be here.
Do you know what projects you would like to sponsor? Does that need to be part of the discussion at the hearing? That's the idea?
Right,
So that the seniors would know what you're focusing on. maybe?
Oh, yeah.
correct.
The senior center.
That's our, primarily, that's our,
I understood, I understood completely when I was.
Right,
asking
you just
the
wanna say
question.
okay, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, do I have a second?
you do?
All those in favor?
I,
Opposed? You have the grass bids in front of you, you have another email about that. Looks like the lowest bidder is the company that was this past year, Neighbors Landscaping at $12,500, which actually goes to $12,652, the corrected number. Still lowest bidder. Any discussion?
I think that I would stick with Neighbors, they did a good job, and got the lowest price, that would be the person I'm leaning toward,
and they're local.
yeah.
Anything else? I think the key is, again, just have the DPW stay on top of it. There were a couple of things you wanted to make sure they did last year they weren't sure of, so we'll make sure that they stay on top of it. They were very, very good at responding to any of the issues that we did bring up. So with that, do I have a motion to accept Neighbors Landscaping bid of $12,652 for the grass cutting for the village?
So moved.
Mr. Brown, do I have a second?
You do?
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
So moved. You have a memorandum agreement from the DPWEA before the cops let in. Woo! We have discussed this, but we had to have it in writing from the actual Teamsters. It's 2% for 2011, 12, and 13. And for longevity, it's a 0.5% for 10 and 15 and 20 years. And the beautiful thing about this is that we only have to do 2013 for the retro.
Right, that's the nice.
Loving that.
Yeah. Can we pay this 90 days out, the retro pay on the third year? Give Gina some time.
I'm sure we're gonna wait as long as we can, so we care.
Yeah.
But I have to say that once we sat down at the table, the union was very receptive. We're actually already working on the next 3 years contract, so this actually brings us up to date to today. And we're already working on the next 3 years, so we're actually ahead of the game, which is very unusual
Yeah.
for
The start
for the village.
before the older contract dates.
Exactly.
Yeah, that doesn't happen too often.
So do I have a motion to accept the terms as put forward by Teamsters Local Union number 445?
I'd like to make that motion.
Wait, Gina?
We are saying as these terms, but these terms don't mention the time frame.
As far as the retro pay?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to make that 90 days, contact them and make that 90
That's-
days for
yeah.
retro pay. Give us at least 90 days to put
that
the
needs
funds
to be part
together.
of the motion.
Yes.
Okay, is that good, Gina? Bill,
Yes,
you feeling that?
not feeling it.
All right. Okay, so accept the agreement with the Teamsters Local Union for
What's this bump mean?
bump means last year was 2%.
I
That was a
understand that.
Teamster term.
This is
learned.
an addition to the.
Correct,
base
last year was
salary.
2%, this year is
This is not a
2.5.
lump- This is not a bonus, this is
No.
a lump sum income.
No, not lump, but when I said bump.
I understand that.
Okay,
I want there to be some either industrial knowledge of what that means,
Oh.
or we say, you know, an increase
Right.
of the base salary by 2.5%, by 3%.
Oh, okay, yeah, you just wanna get the language.
You wanna get the right language.
Yeah.
Do we wanna go with this, or
That's fine.
okay. So, well, we're gonna sign something, we're actually gonna put something forward that actually has more terms in it. So we're actually not going with what they sent us, because we're putting in the 90 days. Do we wanna put any additional language on this?
You wanna correct that word, Bill?
I just think you'd feel more comfortable with anybody reading the language, most particularly an arbiter.
Not there yet.
So, one-time increase.
Yeah,
Yep.
an increment increase in salary.
Okay, the bump will be deleted.
Increase in salary.
If you still need to do more, then I don't know if you're gonna do a resolution, because you don't wanna do a resolution that's contingent on something that may or may not happen. The 90 days.
Oh,
Right.
I think we talked about that when we first sat down, we need time for retro pay, they didn't seem like they were adverse to it.
No, they were just happy that the agreement was being done.
Well, then if you wanna add that, you can add that, but you gotta make sure that it's a condition that, of this approval, otherwise you can come back and have to do it again. With or without, or however else it would be modified.
Right.
Now, is there anything more that you're gonna modify in the agreement?
Not in this, this is a 3-year,
Yes.
so it was the past 11, 12, and 13.
Yes.
So then, that's it, that agreement's done. Now we're gonna move on to a new agreement,
Okay.
14, 15, 16.
Okay.
And that, there is some additions there that we'll work on as we go through those. But we wanna get this out of the way, and the only difference was they wanted their increase, their standard 2%.
I understand.
Okay? So I need a motion. Let's try this.
Are we gonna,
I need a motion to accept, are you with me on this, Bill?
Yes.
All right, I just wanna make sure we're doing this right. I need a motion to accept the terms of the Teamsters Local Union 445, June 2011, 2% increase, 2012, 2% wage increase, retroactive, June 1, 2013, 2% wage increase retroactive to May 31st, 2014. Also, a one-time increment increase in salary and longevity retroactive on June 1st, 2012 of 0.5%. For 10 years, it's 2.2%, 15 years is 3%, 20 years is 3.5%. And the other point is that all to be paid in a separate check.
10 years is 2.5%.
Correct.
Okay. This is an offer that they've made, and you're, by this resolution, you're intending to accept that offer.
Correct. Setting a time frame for the checks, 90 days.
Now I know why that's Teamsters. I don't know who's affected.
Good to go?
Yeah, you do.
All those in favor?
All right.
Opposed?
I'm sorry, who motioned and second?
I'm sorry.
Bob and Mr. Brown,
Okay, thank you.
we have a bake sale request, sidewalk in front of Sacred Heart. This is the same group we did last year. It's for the Team Nixon March of Dimes. They did all that last year as well. They have jars up around town. It's very nice group. Any questions?
Nope.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Brown, do I have a second?
And a second?
Charlie, all's in favor? Opposed? Okay, the 84 Mearns Avenue proposal to board up. Just to give you a heads up, we are in the, I got word from Al Fusco that both buildings have been asbestos tested, and the specs are being written up right now. They hopefully should be done by this week to tear down both buildings. But this building and 109 Center were both broken into over the last week. And the building inspector is very concerned because it's not safe in the building. So he's asked, he got estimates and he has that here before us. Looks like it's gonna be,
What you want to say, I think what you want to describe is some history of a dangerous condition. And secondly, that there's been some sort of a hearing before you're going to either enter or destroyed tomorrow. So that the hearing, if there's an owner that you can locate it.
Right, we did that with 109 Center, and we're dealing, and actually it was already done with 84 Murns. This is, it was done and then pulled back, right, Gina, or no? For 84?
84, I don't believe we had the hearing for demolition. We did for
No.
109.
Okay, no, I know we did 109, but we came close to 84, and then the bank showed up, and they said they were gonna take care of it. Then they backed off, and it's been another couple months, so, and the building's gotten worse.
You need to
But John Hager's putting that together as far, in our,
Make sure that the hearing occurs.
yes,
Doesn't have to be the board, it could be the building inspector, could be the
Right.
person who does the hearing. But you
this is just a board up, though.
Yes.
We don't need a hearing for that, do we?
well, you're entering.
Oh.
Sure.
We're entering the property. Okay,
If there's an emergency situation,
that's what it is.
then you describe the emergency situation so that the record is clear. And then I think boarding up would be it.
Well, it's an unsafe condition, and
Right.
there's actually a big hole with a grate over it, it's a fall hazard, and we want to secure the first floor so kids don't go in. It's,
Yeah, hearing, man.
What's that?
Have a hearing, get it over with.
Right now?
No, you gotta notify the
I
owner.
know, this is an emergency situation.
Well, then
He's
just
very
go ahead.
concerned.
Then you can do that. But
You
just
sure?
Be
You
clear,
gonna be all right?
be clear of the extent of the emergency. If you could describe the extent of the emergency, it would be very helpful.
Yes, we have an emergency situation where 84 Murns has been broken into several times. This last time, when it was investigated, there is a large hole in the middle of the first floor, very dangerous situation, and we do not want, particularly those that normally would do that would be the teens, going in there, getting hurt, and people not even knowing where they are. So because of that, because of the concern over the danger and the emergency, that the building inspector has gone out and got estimates to board up the property to make it safe, so that we don't have any issues.
You might also want to, around the perimeter of the property, put that red tape or
The
yellow
yellow
tape, do not enter.
Exactly.
That would be another,
Take that was theirs and torn down, need to be,
Say it again, my friend?
take that was theirs, been removed.
Yeah, the one on 109 is already, it's been torn down 3 times already. So I have the estimates here. It looks like the first one is the low bid.
Tony's probably here for that.
Fine. I don't see.
Tony's on the back.
I don't have that one.
Tony, we're talking about first floor board up only.
You gotta do the second floor doors and the third floor doors.
Yeah, I saw yours.
Did he give you a, did he just ask for an estimate, or did he give you actual specs?
No, I just gave you, that's from the rest.
This one is the whole first floor.
Right. Just the first floor.
Tony's got
Both.
first, second, and third. And this one here, I'm having troubles understanding from Sopro.
is it possible to get to the second or third floor without going through the first floor?
Not unless you have a ladder, I guess. So that's kind of, we're kind of just trying to keep the kids out until they.
Yeah. Until you have it,
What's that?
until you have a hearing and you knock it down.
Yes, which we're moving forward
Or
to.
an owner comes forward and
Or
puts a-
fix it
puts a
right.
Decides he
bond
wants
up.
to resolve the issue, yeah.
Yeah, puts a bond up or some way of securing this board of good faith in doing something that would give it a relieve the safety issues.
Yeah, I feel better about boarding it up anyway, the first floor, just to kind of keep the kids out. Servpro, I'm not completely understanding,
Right.
but it doesn't matter, because they're not low bid anyway.
Well, also the open ones, they don't have to go a little bit. That's good.
We only have two, let's say that, and then, this one here.
I think we should put this off.
There.
Well. The other thought to, go.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna, we need to go into an exec to discuss one or two things with Bill. Not this second, we'll do it at the end of the thing, and then we'll come out and just take care of this business. Sorry, Tom. All right. So let's hold off on that one. That's done, that's done. That's done. Okay, unfortunately, with regret, I am rescinding, I need a motion to rescind Lana Bressler's request for raising broiler chickens due to the objection of the neighbors. Mr. Brown, do I have a second?
You do?
All those in favor?
Aye.
And could I just make a public notation that we have a moratorium in effect now on chickens to determine some specs going forward if people want chickens, what they have to do. And also, anyone out there who is thinking about getting a goat, I don't think that's gonna fly.
It's actually a moratorium on farm animals for right now, so we can make a better policy. Because as the one group here said, their thing was done in the 1860s and hasn't really been reviewed. We're finding that a majority of codes and laws were done in the 60s and 70s and not reviewed since then. So this obviously is something that, we had another gentleman who was thinking about their chickens. So obviously it's something that's going on, we want to make sure it's done properly. If people in the village want to do it, as long as it's safe and people are okay with it, then we can do it, but we want to do it right. We don't want to have chaos and have to tell everyone that you just made this purchase and your kids are excited and now you have to get rid of them. So that's why we're doing a moratorium. It's not just on chickens, it's on all farm animals. I need the authorization to sign the MS4 Municipal Compliance Certification Form for the period ending March 9, 2014. You have that in front of you. Have any questions? Just for your information, a complete report on the village website is posted, will be posted for at least 30 days on the website.
It has been.
Has been for at least 30 days. Thank you, Jim.
It's not.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion?
No, I'll make a motion we sign the MS4.
Motion by trustee Mellon, second. Second by trustee Murphy. All those in favor?
Right?
Opposed? Need authorization, we need to authorize myself, Sergeant Lavelle, and Chief Scott to sign the State Law Enforcement Terrorism Prevention Program contracts for the calendar year 2012.
So,
Second?
Second for discussion, why is it fiscal year 2012?
Ken?
Good question. I thought the same thing when I got the request. The county still has funds from 2012, and it actually runs to August 31st of this year. So they found out that they had money left over still, so we should be getting at least $18,100 for equipment. And then if there's any other monies left over, they will certainly send it back to us.
That's right. Exactly.
Any other questions?
Anything else?
That was an excellent question.
All right, do we have a motion, we have a first, we have a second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I need a motion for a budget transfer of $20,103.20 from the A.5110.04 street maintenance contractual to the A.5142.04 snow removal. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion. We transfer.
Motion by trustee Mellon, second. Trustee Murphy, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I need a motion to accept the bills and claims in the amount of $116,026.96. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Trustee Murphy, do I have a second?
Second.
Trustee Brown, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Mayor, you wanted me to remind you of the
It's too late.
fire.
Bills and claims, last one. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I'd like to move that we'll allow the fire department to take rescue truck 430 and car 1 and possibly car 2 and the decon trailer to the Hudson Valley Parade in Lake George and car 1 to the New York State Association of Fire Chiefs Convention. The latter for 1 day only.
Could you tell me what car 1 and 2 was?
Car 1 is the chief's car, car 2 is the assistant chief's car. But they may not have the new vehicle in time, so it may just be the 1 car.
Do we need that many?
Well, by virtue of not taking a large fire truck, you need to transport people as well.
And where is this?
This one is in Lake George, New York. Car 1 going to the fire chiefs is
Right.
just the 1 vehicle, that's simple.
Any comments? Do I have a motion?
Up to 2 cars.
3.
Well, let's say up to
2
2
cars
cars,
and a truck.
depending on the number of personnel who are gonna be traveling.
Okay, up to 3 cars.
A lot of cars, a lot of gas.
It's okay.
You have a
I'm not
motion?
opposing it. I've asked for a motion, nobody's, do
I said you
I
have a
didn't hear you.
motion.
I have a second?
Second.
Slow second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Opposed? No? Okay. That being said, public comments.
I wanted to know about parking on Knox Road. I live on 20 Ondeora, and I'm on the corner of Ondeora and Knox. And we have neighbors who like to entertain, and we have no problems with it. But the road is narrow as it, anyway. But when they line the street on Knox with their car, with cars, with their company, we're unable to get in and out of our driveways. So I was wondering, short of calling the police, which we don't want to do on our neighbors, the possibility of putting up signs that say, do not, no parking between signs, or any help here would be great,
I understand.
Have you talked to them?
Yes, they've told us that, they tell their, when they're having their party, not to park there, but they're not out there enforcing it. And on Saturday, I happened to be out in my driveway, and someone just happened to park directly across from me, and I was working on my car, and I said, excuse me, but you can't park there, I can't get in and out of my driveway. And they're like, what driveway? And I'm like, you have to move. And, with an attitude, they moved, but I'm not always there to police them, but if the cars are lined, I can't get in or out. So if I come home from work, I can't get into my driveway, or if I'm trying to go to work, I'm doing like a 50-point turn just trying to get out, so.
We need a resolution to change do an ordinance to have a no parking area from one place to another.
I think, what I'd like to do, well, I know you want me to call you.
Call the police.
Well, no, I don't, it's not a twice a year event.
No,
That's twice a week. Basically, we need to assist that area, because there is, I in no way want to slow down the,
our
And you don't
driveway
either.
is difficult because one
Right.
goes down and the other one is level, but they're
right, and
they're
no,
very tight.
not that I've been there, but I've seen the parking situation. And yes, let's first start with Ken, and we'll go check out the situation, see if there's something what needs to be done as far as no parking in this area, no parking in this area, to alleviate at least the area around the residents, so that everyone's not parking on top. Bill?
Chief will go out and investigate, and come back with a report
Yep.
and a recommendation. And that will be the basis on which the trustees can act.
Exactly. Is that cool?
Okay.
And we'll do that this week.
All right.
Okay? But I understand, I understand. And it's nice that you actually came here and you're trying not to make those phone calls every week. But know that they may get there. Mr. Suarez?
While we're on the topic of checking parking issues, if it also could be checked on Walnut Avenue going up for the
Chicken thing?
no chickens on Walnut. We know that there's no parking on the one side of Walnut,
Correct.
but I don't remember seeing any signs. If so, it's way in the beginning, so people going
Right.
all the way up.
You're 100% correct. They're right at the bottom. They
I've seen cars parked on
nothing at the
both
top.
sides. either
So if they're
direction.
coming, you're 100% right.
It's an issue.
If they're coming off of Roe Park and they're doing a turnaround to park right up top, if they don't live here and they don't know there's no parking, there does need to be at least 2 more signs on that road.
Or at
Towards
least
the middle
halfway
and
up,
top.
they're parking from like Bernard up. They're parking on the right-hand side as well, because there aren't any signs at least halfway up, maybe 3/4 of the way up.
Cool?
Sir.
Thanks. Appreciate that, Ken.
Thank you, sir.
And do me a favor, don't hold back. Check with us halfway, hey, what do you got for me? Because I was concerned, and I'm glad that you're trying to resolve it in a very nice way. Thank you.
Well, short of buying these Jersey barriers to put across from my driveway.
As long as they're good looking, we get. Any other public comment?
Yeah, I have one. Tennille Speidel, I'm from the Board of Education, and I wanted to actually have a couple of things to talk about. I wanted to thank the village board for the activities that we've been doing jointly this year. We came to some agreement on the water, and I know we're working closely on discussing the new proposed new hotel at 9W, and I look forward to a continued relationship with the board. I think our relationship has evolved over the past year, and it's in a good way, and I look forward to that continuing. And I just wanted to let the board know and the community that with the new New York State property tax freeze, the school board taxes will be the first that are affected by this freeze, and it's actually a rebate. So any increase for people that are eligible for STAR rebates for their taxes will get a rebate of any increase from the previous year of their taxes. And I want to make sure that the community really understands this topic. We do have our public hearing tomorrow at the O'Neill High School Library. So I encourage the community and anyone that's interested to come and ask questions to please do so. It's a very unusual year with this tax rebate, and I want to make sure that everybody really understands the topic well so that they can make an informed choice for the budget vote that comes on May 20th. So the school has adopted a budget that does come in under the cap. So should we pass our budget, we are eligible to get that rebate this year. And the rebate checks, the state has announced they will go out in October of this year. So if you do the staged payments that we now allow for school taxes, you could actually get the rebate check before your final payment for the school taxes. So thank you.
Thank you. Speaking of that, you just reminded me, we have to talk about a shared agreement with the school. I met with Wayne Robinson this morning. The 2 topics in particular were Fickens Field. Fickens Field was the topic, and 2 pieces of it were the hill, where there is a ton of debris that has gathered over the last 5 to 10 years, and the possible parking on the opposite side of the field. The reason I met with Wayne was I wanted to offer our people to help get rid of the brush, because it's quite a project to at least get rid of it, upkeep it. Obviously, we be the school. I did contact John Hager because there are some residents, have told the school that they actually own part of the hill. Residents across the street own part of the hill, which is why, I guess they were dumping there. But we're gonna ask them not to dump anymore, put the stuff out just like everyone else and let the carters take it away, because it really does take away from the field. So Wayne had expressed the first step would be to get a shared agreement going, so that we can move forward if we decided to do anything with the school as far as helping in this area, possibly plowing, other issues, working together. So that's our first step, we need to get a shared agreement. As far as the parking lot, the school did take the information to the lawyers. The lawyers are very concerned about the liability, so I'm coming back to the board and Bill to see what we can do about a possible, whether we're interested or not, a possible purchase of that small piece to become village property, so that the liability is taken off the school if we are looking for additional parking to alleviate the area between Roe Park and Fickens Field, which is very troublesome during the sports periods from the spring, summer, and fall. A lot of activity, a lot of action. Very, very lucky over the last 20 years we haven't had major problems. But this is another aggravated area where the police go up and try to enforce it, and yet all the what are you doing? Come on, and they'll get, instead of being up there 10 minutes, or up there 2 hours trying to calm people down, it's just saying, you know, when an ambulance can't get through, there's gonna be an issue, let alone kids going back and forth. So to alleviate that, a suggestion was to utilize the area over by Fickens, which is right there. So if you guys would, if you're not familiar with it, take a look. There's a separate entrance, so we wouldn't have to go through the field or anything. We could cut it off with a fence, there'll be a separate entrance, it'd be closed off, and it would also give us additional snow cover if we chose, if the school wanted to sell. I've asked them to check and make sure that that parcel doesn't include the fieldage that they need per building. Even though the elementary school building's closed, in the effect 2, 3, 5 years from now, if it's open, that every school building needs so much playing field. So I don't believe that they need that as far as the number. I've asked them to look into that. So I just want to update you on the possibility of doing this. If you guys want to, it's something to discuss. It's not something we have to do tomorrow.
Good idea. How big, can you have any idea of square foot?
I could put 40 cars in there easy. Telling you right now.
It's not big.
Oh, yeah. So it's got the problem is just like the other piece of, property, Fickens Field is a stepchild, and we all have them, where it really hasn't been kept up. That side, and it's about time, and it's about money. Could keep it up easily, but let's throw another $50,000 to the schools, they can hire someone who's gonna take care of it. No one wants to throw another $50,000. But if we can get this taken care of jointly, the upkeep would be very easy. The problem is it got away from us, and when you put it on your project list, that's on the bottom. And when you have 20 other things come up, we never get to it. So actually, Wayne had told me that they're starting tomorrow. And I have to applaud them, because that's been an issue for at least 15 years when I was coaching back in the day. The trees that were overhanging the actual field, let alone encroaching the field. They've hired a contractor to come in, cut the trees back, so they're not only away from the field, but away from the sitting area as well, safety-wise, which is great. And he says they're gonna start on the project, but not that we can rush to a shared agreement, we'll do it by the book. But, again, I'm sure they'll have 50 projects that'll run into them. So if we can help them in any way, they're gonna need some heavier equipment to get some of that stuff out of there. That's it. Any other public comment?
Just after you go into executive session, again, are you coming out and doing business?
We are gonna come out, and I imagine we were gonna do business. We have 2 or 3 things for exec, but the other thing I need to talk to our lawyer about is the contract for boarding up the house. So that's the business I plan on readdressing when we come out. Okay, no? Can I move for executive session to discuss contractual agreements?
I'm going to ask you,
Sir?
also for executive session, to talk about a strategy concerning litigation.
Even better. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? Second. All's in favor? Opposed? So moved. Thank you very much.